Morning, East Leiden, and welcome back. We hope you had a great weekend and a good start to your new school year. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Melanie, bringing you this year's first Eagle Update, your exclusive source on student-run journalism covering East Leiden and its community. In this episode, reporters investigate Leiden's efforts to fight the problem of chronic absenteeism.
A group of journalists go and interview the new East Leiden principal, Dr. Julie Lamb.
And we'll take a look back in time, reflecting on 100 years of Leiden.
Finally, we look at the new rule banning cell phones in classrooms. Thanks for tuning in, East Leiden. Your Eagle Update starts
Right now.
Stri For 95 is a system where the East Leiden faculty and staff keeps track of attendance every week of all grade levels and compares the average percentages of attendance with each grade.
Stri For 95 means showing up, right? Even when you might not want to, you show up, you reach out to the people that you need to reach out to help you get through that. And so you can be as successful as you can now and in the future.
I think that Stri For 95 is pushing our students to come to school on a more regular basis. I think so far it's done something better for our school because I have seen more kids in class on a more consistent basis for the first 4 weeks of school so far.
Yeah, I feel motivated to attend school. A lot of the teachers keep me motivated every day with certain things. Mrs. Spania, Miss Mendoza, people in the deans, they're very motivating.
The term Stri For 95 originated from the expectation of each grade to have an attendance rate of at least 95%. This due to the ongoing issue of chronic absence in American schools. In years 2018 and 2022, chronic absence has increased on average 13%.
I think a lot of it is figuring out the why of why people aren't coming to school and then educating them on what it means to be chronically absent. I think that's really important. I think it's shocking to know that missing more than 2 days a month means that you're chronically absent.
I do find it difficult because on mornings I'll wake up and I'll be super tired and I don't feel like coming to school. I think it's important because when you're here as much as you can, you're able to attend your classes and get as much study time in as you can.
As a way to solve this issue, the school uses Stri For 95 as a way to motivate students to want to come to school due to them seeing their class average attendance. Leiden hopes to one day see all grades in school have an attendance rate of at least 95%, and they think that this new system will help do it.
So some of the things we've been doing, right? We just had our 90% raffle this week at the lunch periods. I think that was fun for everybody. We'll continue to do that. I would like to see the prizes increase as the year goes on because it is harder to keep that attendance rate up the more the year goes on.
After Thanksgiving time, around Christmas and Thanksgiving, it becomes harder for kids to get up to come to school because right now it's light when you wake up and you are seeing the sun. It's able to get you to get up, wake up. But once we get to the winter months, I think we'll see kind of a little bit of a drop off just because you get a little more sluggish in the winter months. So I think we're going to kind of see a dip down, but hopefully it'll come back up in the spring.
I think it's really important that everybody be able to identify at least one person at the school that they can reach out to. And it can be any adult at the school. So I think just helping students realize that and identify that can be helpful.
The Leiden Superintendent Nick Poliak and other team members are currently planning for the enjoyable and entertaining community gathering events celebrating Leiden's centennial.
Definitely seen some excitement throughout our community about the 100-year anniversary. When you drive around the community, you see signs and posters in the businesses and on the street signs. People are reaching out to us. They want to know how to come to the gala. They want to know how to come to the concert. And so people are coming back. Alumni who live across the country are traveling back to come. They're going to get to see the new facilities for the first time ever. And so we're very excited about that. We're going to have tours and all kinds of fun events for them.
I think with the 100th year celebration, I think it's really nice that the school's trying to get not only the kids involved, the adults involved, the community involved. I've seen signs around. So I think that's really nice, kind of that element of they're trying to incorporate alumni from a long time ago. They're trying to incorporate everybody in, which I think is really cool to see happen.
It's always important to celebrate when you have the opportunity to recognize how the institution has served the community for 100 years and all that it's kind of given and helped people.
East Leiden was first founded in 1923, creating a small community. Later, in 1924, East Leiden was voted and approved to become a 4-year high school. And in April of 1924, the Leiden High School became a part of Cook County District 212. High school was then first occupied in February of 1927 after a $125,000 construction. Over time, East Leiden has expanded and has become the great community it is today.
There's a lot that's the same, which I think is a good thing. That there's a vibe in the building that's been there since I was a student that's still there now. And again, it's that energy with the kids. You know, they're walking around, they got classes, they're worried about this quiz and this, but they've got sports and they're doing things outside and they're meeting with their friends for games and then where are we going after? And so that whole vibe that's sort of around the building is still there. So, I mean, you see there's new stuff. Look at the new part of the building. There's a lot of new stuff and change and people, but that core of it is still the same, and the community, that's still the same.
I think being involved with this community has really helped me see the world in a different way than I had based upon my upbringing and my lived experience. And I think I'm a much better person because of that.
Leiden team members have made a 100th-year committee that has been meeting every month for over a year to plan these events and make these centennial events perfect.
We welcome everyone to take part in all these activities. So the concert is for all ages. The tickets are only $10. We'd love to fill that place. We've sold over 800 tickets already. We can go up to 2,500. So we'd love to see more people there. We'd love to see people at the gala where we're going to have auction items and dancing and music. And then the community picnic at the end of the year is for all of Leiden and all of our elementary schools. And so we're going to celebrate the kickoff of the next 100 years.
Dr. Julie Lamb became East Leiden's new principal after her 20 years of teaching. Throughout her few months in her new position, she's hopeful that her past will help her connect to the diverse community at Leiden.
So Leiden is very similar to the community in which I grew up. I immigrated to the United States as a refugee. I'm an English language learner. Sometimes I would have to interpret for my parents, if they received mail, a bill, or they had to go to meetings and I had to help out the family. That was very much that immigrant or first generation student experience. So because of those similarities, I was very drawn to the Leiden community. And I think that me, myself, and my personal and professional experiences, it mirrors a lot of what our students experience here.
Lamb earned a bachelor's degree from Leona University, a master's degree from the University of Arizona, and her doctorate from the Northern Illinois University. According to an April article from the Chicago Tribune, Dr. Lamb started her career teaching science and has worked at the Museum of Science and Industry and across various administrative roles. Most recently, she was the Director of Student Learning at Oak Park River Forest High School. Lamb believes that these experiences prepared her well for the new role.
It's always interesting when you step into a new environment and a new community because you're learning at the same time, right? But of course, some people who may have been here for quite some time, they've already learned that. They're fully a part of the community. So for me, that's the nervousness piece, is as I'm learning, am I also doing the right thing? And this is my 20th year in education, so I feel that, the past experiences I've had are really going to help me in this case.
Superintendent Dr. Poliak spoke well of Dr. Lamb, stating she has demonstrated a strong ability to continue leading the work that has been established at East, while also bringing her knowledge and experience to build additional supports that meet the changing needs of our communities.
I really believe that when you become a leader of an organization like a school or a school district, you really have to be in it with everyone else. So I have to learn about the students, I have to learn about the staff, all staff. I have to learn about, the curriculum that we're using. I have to learn about athletics and activities, all things that make up your high school life. And then that helps me to understand what are some things that are so great that we should celebrate here. And maybe also learn what are some of those things that could be tweaked to improve upon. So I always believe a leader should do that first, because if you don't know who you're leading or the organization that you're working for, how can you lead?
Dr. Lamb will continue her efforts to understand Leiden by taking a listening tour this week in the Student Activities Office during lunch periods on Tuesday and Thursday. Students can meet with her to share ideas, present feedback, and welcome our new principal to East Leiden. For the Eagle Update, this is Nicole Chiosh.
Since last school year, Leiden has been slowly enforcing cell phone homes in classes to reduce the use, distractions, and addiction cell phones bring to the classroom.
A year ago, if you recall, had the expectation that you could set a ban in place as a teacher, but it wasn't universal across the whole school. And some teachers did that and found a lot of success in it. But one of the challenges is if I'm doing it as a teacher, but then 2 classes over, they're not doing it, it makes it more difficult for me to do it. We had been talking about it for a couple of years, honestly, and it's that trusting, empowering young people to make good decisions and mentoring versus it getting so out of control that we had to make a large-scale decision. And so that's what led us to say we don't want to wait any longer.
Kids compulsively use apps like Snapchat, TikTok, and Instagram during class, distracting them and their peers during lessons. A New York Times article states that phone distraction is a major issue which has led schools in at least 8 states to implement new rules banning phones or having kids put them in a cell phone holder.
Even off technology, you can be distracted every 14 to 25 seconds. But once you throw technology on top of that, it could take you 5, 10, 15 minutes to even recoup the level of focus that you had before that electronic distraction.
There's even research that shows the cell phone on the desk is far more distracting than the cell phone up at a phone holder, which is why we made the decision not just to say off, but literally put away.
With the new school year, Leiden students have transitioned from occasionally walking into the classroom with a cell phone home to walking into any room in the building and cell phone homes being the first thing they encounter. These new rules that arose only a couple days before the school year began brought much tension and emotion amongst both students and teachers.
It's a little stressful, in my opinion, because like something's going on in my, because everyone has a life, we all have lives, and so if something's going on, I don't have my phone to respond to an emergency.
We feel like we need it, one, because it's an expensive belonging that we're putting somewhere else that's not close to our person, so I think that that's like a negative piece of it. And 2, again, that security, it's like our lifeline. So I see both of those 2 things as negatives.
The reality of technology, devices, cell phones, is they are very intentionally built to hook, particularly young people, but to hook people in. The endorphins that are flowing, the chemicals in your brain, the quick hits of light and connection that you get from devices, there's a lot of science behind the fact that that's very intentional. And so the loss of having that in front of you is almost like a loss to a lot of people, particularly young people, of that safety blanket, that net, that comfort.
The question now is, has it truly made an impact on Leiden and its goal of educating?
I'm a lot less distracted. I feel like a lot of students too are a lot less distracted in class because they don't have their phones with them, so they get their work done.
As positives, I really think that it helps students focus because the distraction is not right here, right in our hands. It's away from us. So I think that there's a lot more learning going on, and I think there's a lot of authentic conversations that are taking place.
Not on my phone as much, and I won't get notifications, and it'll disrupt my pocket and stuff, and I'll just get vibrations and stuff. So I guess it's a good way to focus.
I mean, a huge uptick in participation, time on task.
Last year, the years prior, I was on my phone all the time. And I got distracted. My grades were really low. Right now, all my grades are really good.
For the Eagle Update, this is Nathan LeBoy.
That's all the news we have for you guys today. Remember to check your emails to read the daily bulletin for all the news on the clubs and other events in the school.
If you got ideas for future segments, send an email to Mr. Rossi. We look forward to telling your stories. For the Eagle Update, I'm Mulaney.
I'm Jacob, and we are
signing off.